All right, it's 20 minutes before 7 here on Morning Live on this Friday morning. The ongoing Eskom Expo for young scientists is a science fair where students have a chance to show others their projects about their own scientific investigations. At the expo, students can discuss their work with judges, teachers and students from other schools, also with parents and with other interested people. By participating at the expo, students will increase their awareness of the wonders of science, add to their knowledge and also broaden their scientific horizons. So for more on the expo, we are joined in studio by Dr. Steve Lennon, who is Eskom's Group Executive for Sustainability. Good to have you. So nice to see you again, Steve. Welcome. Okay, so the expo, like I said to you earlier, I feel like this is our annual meeting.
That's right.
At least we guarantee to see each other because it's such a nice, it's such a stunning expo, especially in a country where we're trying to push maths, we're trying to push science, and you must see some extraordinary individuals.
We do see extraordinary individuals, Leanne, and every year when we host the national finals of the Eskom Expo for Young Scientists, I just walk away inspired. And I think that everyone that goes in, you just say, wow, this is absolutely incredible. When you look at the South African youngsters that are there, the incredible innovation, the amazing work, the enthusiasm, it is really inspiring.
Yeah. What do you look for? I mean, because I can imagine you get so many incredible entries and young students with great innovations. But what is it you specifically want?
Well, firstly, you're right that we get a lot of students. So this year, we've expanded the expo, especially at the regions. We've got 31 regions, and we went from 8,000 learners last year to 18,000 this year. Wow. So it's big. And so there's very specific criteria. Firstly, it is about science, and it's about teaching youngsters scientific methodology. So what the judges first look for is, has the work been carried out in accordance with good scientific methodology? Then after that, they'll have a look at innovation. They'll say, is this something that is different? Then they'll have a look at the learner's understanding, because you've got to filter out those where the parents have actually
yes, but they've
given a lot of assistance.
I know.
And so it's the learner's understanding, their ability to communicate their project. And then there is an element that says, how is it actually being presented physically?
Here's where it really gets my interest peaked, because you're saying you've got 18,000 interests. I mean, up from 8,000 to 18,000, and yet we're always moaning and crying that science is severely lacking and maths is severely lacking in this country. But that, for me, proves that there is a major and massive interest in those sectors.
There is a massive interest. And, you know, I think the one thing that we have to look at is to say, how can you make sure that every one of those 18,000 is able to study further? And a big focus in the current phase of the Eskom Expo is to actually get out to rural schools, schools that may not have even a science lab or even a science teacher, and get those kids participating. So we're using volunteers from throughout the technical community to mentor youngsters.
Yeah.
And it's been very successful. And yes, I agree. I think that, you know, you get these myths or sort of conventional wisdom or urban legends, whatever you want to call them, that says that science is hard and therefore it's only for an elite few. It isn't. It's about everyday life, and that means that we must make it accessible to all youngsters in South Africa.
It is, and science is fun. It's creating things, it's experimenting, it's doing things that perhaps no one else has ever done before, and that's, I suppose, what's so nice about it. What have you seen? Give me an example of something perhaps maybe this year or last year that really you thought, my goodness, we came up with that. One of our young students came up with that.
Well, I mean, if you just think of some of the projects we've had this year, we had things like vertical gardens. So in other words, seeing how you can be a lot more productive in the way you produce crops by actually growing crops vertically so you can use less space. Projects that digest waste and use that to directly produce electricity using the electrical characteristics of the waste.
Yeah.
Lots of projects this year on fitting shoes with little units that produce electricity and charge batteries and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So it really has been absolutely fascinating. Absolutely fascinating.
That's amazing.
But you also said it's about fun. And, you know, if you were there last night, you'd see it. I mean, we had 822 youngsters in this massive hall.
Yeah.
And we gave out awards last night in excess of R1 million, bursaries and things like that. But they had great fun.
Yeah.
They had absolutely great fun.
Well, that was my question to you. I wanted to find out, you're not going to get so many entrants just for fun. They are standing the chance of winning something. So is that what you're giving, R1 million worth of bursaries
Over
away?
R1 million. So last night, Stellenbosch University alone gave out 750,000 rands worth of bursaries. Laptops, cash prizes, hundreds of thousands of rands worth of cash prizes given out to many youngsters. This morning, straight after this, we have now the medal ceremony, and Minister Pandor, Minister of Science and Technology, will be handing out a lot of medals, gold, silver and bronze medals to those youngsters. So it is about recognition, but we also create so many opportunities. Last year, we sent 16 youngsters to science fairs around the world.
Wow.
13 of them came back with awards. Some of them end up getting bursaries to study internationally.
Amazing.
And our youngsters internationally definitely punch above their weight.
Well, I am so happy to hear this. It's so good to have a good news story finally coming out of South Africa when it comes to the issues of science, and that really is a great, great hope for us. Dr. Steve Lennon, who is Eskom's Group Executive for Sustainability, talking to us about the Eskom, you can understand why I'm saying that, Eskom Expo for young scientists for the science fair that's taking place currently. All right, thanks again, and good luck with the rest of it. All right, let's take a break.